Hi. uh, First question is, what made you want to become an engineer?
Um, I enjoyed math and science, and uh, family members were engineers, and I knew it was a livable wage career.
Yeah. So I probably should have introduced you before I started asking
Oh,
questions.
hi, I'm Matthew Lander. I'm an engineering manager from Island County in Washington State.
Perfect. I know Matthew because we're related somehow. I don't really know how, but we're like third cousins, I think. All right. Cool. Uh, so what kind of engineer are you, and like why did you choose that field?
Civil engineering, and I work in public works, dealing with stormwater, road infrastructure, and slope stability related to roads or county facilities.
Cool.
Um, I enjoyed the water aspect. Then I went to grad school for groundwater, and I realized that I wanted to work on surface water instead of groundwater after going to grad school.
Cool. So how long have
And I
you been
enjoyed
an engineer?
working for the county just because of the type of projects and that majority of projects you're working on a public good towards
Yeah.
just to help the community.
Yeah. Uh, so how long have you been an engineer? How long have you been doing this?
For 6 years,
6 years?
and I started off as a surface water engineer, and then branched to a project engineer dealing with surface water inroads, and then for the last about year and a half, I've been the engineering manager.
Cool.
Um, so I have
Cool. Uh, so sorry. Where'd you go to school?
California State Long Beach and Humboldt State University, well, also in California.
If you did it again, would you choose the same path?
Uh, I chose my undergrad because it was close to family, which and it was a very good value school.
Hmm.
So it's a relatively low cost for the quality of education. So I I had opportunities there that if I had gone to like a Cal Poly, I probably wouldn't have had access to. So I was like president of American Society of Civil Engineers and president of Chi Epsilon, a civil engineering honor society. And if I'd gone to a different university, I probably wouldn't have had those positions.
Yeah.
Humboldt is it's a unique school. So definitely for their undergrad program. So they usually let anyone in, but they don't have problems with failing you out. So if you're, so if you're, and they just deal with environmental engineering and kind of a mixture of alternative energies and kind of electrical engineering, and that's a unique program, but very good. So uh, if
Nice.
and
So,
I also chose that because I have a fellowship. So for so I was like I was paid to go there.
oh, yeah,
Um,
that makes the choice pretty
so I
easy.
mean, yeah. If money was not an issue, I may have gone to different schools.
Uh-huh. Well, so like you talked a little bit about it, but like what kind of projects do you do like regularly? Like what's your everyday life as a project manager or an engineering manager?
So for engineering manager, um, I deal with like I looked up a lot of state laws today. um, And I deal with some of the accounting aspects and the priorities of some of my project engineers on what projects they should work with. And then if they come with a problem, I help them work with that. Uh, we had one is just moving a very small project that's being worked on right now is just many years ago. Some infrastructure got placed in on private property instead of a public right of way. So
Oh,
we're just moving it to a new location in the lagoon. But because of just environmental permitting, it takes a lot of effort to do a simple engineering task. We're also, just recently, I finished building a brand new road, which is pretty unique because usually you're just doing maintenance on existing roads on a place on the island where there is only one road that goes north and south. So when the highway has an accident blocking traffic, people couldn't access the hospital or emergency
oh,
services.
geez.
People
Yeah.
couldn't.
So that's like high priority.
So, and then I work with like ecologists for the permitting aspects. And then also I just deal with um, problems that come through and then how that's more of it's like a more of just dealing with policy of how to address certain issues as they arise. And that's not really that engineering. It's just there's like you have to have the engineering component of like the knowledge background.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not related to accounting, I don't do much number crunching. So like 99% of the time, I can do my job with high school math.
Interesting. So, uh, do you work for like a company or do you work through like the city,
I work for the county.
the county?
Yeah.
Nice. Um, so what do you think for 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 me, let's say, if I wanted to become an engineer, what do you think the most important thing for me to know would be? Like, is there anything that like
I
students
would
should
say
be
that
aware of?
you'll, unless you want to be a very specific design engineer doing a very specific kind of component, like unless you're designing bolts on a bridge of like, or just like one little component, you're going to be doing a lot more writing out
Writing.
of college than you may be doing during college
Right.
classes. So I would say technical writing or just technical communication is going to be a bigger portion
Huh.
of an average of an engineer's job.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. I
But
didn't know
I
that.
guess if more of your interests would be what what areas interest you in engineering?
Right now, I'm thinking like chemical maybe, or I haven't ruled out like mechanical or civil. I'm kind of still all over the place, but this is like kind of my first engineering class, so I don't really have to make up my mind quite yet.
Yeah. Uh, Chemical, if you're a very competitive person, could be probably the one of the highest paying positions. I
Yeah.
know my roommate in college lives on the same island I do, which is weird because it's nowhere near where we were in college. But he worked as a process engineer for a refinery,
Oh, really?
and he makes like double what I do. So,
Jeez.
so, but then but it's also that's private instead of public. So, but
Mhm.
I know overall, I'd say chemical engineers is a higher paying than civil at least.
Do you, would you say the majority of what you do, you've learned like on the job or like in school?
I would say, almost majority is on the job. So, it, it, but the background information is very essential. Of so, like because I deal with multiple projects, and even when I was designing a project, the actual engineering for a project engineer is just a small portion of it. But it's that education and the background knowledge to be able to make, even if you're just making like a non-report or calculation, that is important to have that background information. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So this is the last question, actually. How hard was getting an engineering education for you? Was there any like challenges?
mm,
What was the hardest part?
mm, uh, I went through my undergrad in 4 years. If you have the ability, I don't know, it would have been fun to have done my undergrad in 5 years. Uh, it would, I guess the most uh, difficult class for me was differential equations.
Oh gosh, I
Uh,
have that coming up. Not right now, but
and that was just because I was not applying myself at all. And the professor was a little strict. So I had to take him again. So I took him for probability and statistics, even though I didn't need to. And that one went really well. But yeah, I think I got a C in differential equations, which you do use in like future engineering classes. So it's a good one to study
understand.
on.
All right, I'll spend some time on it. All right, well, I
Um,
think that's it on my questions. Thanks for talking. I'm
sure.
gonna turn off the recording now if I can figure out how.